So does your powered subwoofer suck? When you're at a gig and you crank up the wobble, your top cabinet sound really good, but your subwoofer sounds like it's distorting and bottoming out. Your subwoofer must suck, right? Well, let me just say a few things. Not all subwoofers are created equal, but no matter what subwoofer you're running, it probably doesn't suck. If you're realizing distortion, this is probably what's happening. Your subwoofer's turned up too high. As mobile DJs with that compressed audio stuff, we're putting a pretty heavy demand on these subs. So if we turn them down a little bit, if you're dealing with a dial that's 0 through 10, when I say turn it down, I'm talking about 4, maybe even 3.5 on the dial. If you're dealing with a subwoofer that has a 0 dB at top dead center, you either go plus or minus. I'm talking about -3, -4 dB on this sucker. If you're sending a signal out of your mixing board at 0 dB and you turn this guy down to -3, -4 dB, it's going to sound so much better. Yeah, if you want more bass, you're going to have to step up to a more aggressive subwoofer. There's budget stuff, mid-range stuff, premium stuff, and there's even touring stuff that can just cause structural damage if you wanted to. But for the most part, these subwoofers are just here to produce a nice sub-bass sound. It doesn't have to be something that cracks the walls or sets off alarms in cars a mile away. Now, some people say, well, I'll just turn the line fader GEQ bass down. Here's the problem with that. Yeah, you're cutting bass signal, and that's going to help it a little bit. But what it's also going to do is rob the mid bass from your top cabinet. And if your top cabinet isn't distorting, why do that? Keep that mid bass up there nice and clean and full, and just turn this down. That's all you got to do. Now, some of you may be saying, what you're telling me is this. My powered subwoofer has an amplifier inside of it that's more than twice as big as it needs to be to power the speaker inside of it. Yeah, the demand that you put on a subwoofer to produce sub bass is the biggest demand you're going to put on any speaker in your system. The sub is working crazy. The speaker is going all over the place. It's working real hard. Back in the old days, we used to have to mathematically match up amplifiers to passive speakers, and one of the equations we had to figure out was something called headroom. And what headroom is power above and beyond what the speaker needs to function. So if this speaker inside of this cabinet needs 600 watts to function, a 1200 watt amplifier would give it 100% headroom. Now, why would it do that? Think of it this way. If all I can lift is 100 pounds with this arm, and I had to do that all day long, wouldn't last very long, would it? I'd have muscle fatigue real fast. However, if all I had to do was lift, 40, 50 pounds, I could lift it for a lot longer, and my arm wouldn't get hot, and I wouldn't get tired. That's what headroom is, and that's a good thing. So, there's my suggestion for you. I hope it helps somebody. If you got any questions, let me know in the comment section. Again, not an audio engineer, not an audiophile, just a dumb DJ who likes this stuff to sound good at events. And from my experience, this has worked pretty well. Just turn it down a little bit. That's it. We'll see you next time. Practice and enjoy.